Welcome to On Talk, a weekly talk show produced by Apple Language Center and broadcast every Saturday night at 8 p.m. at Apple Facebook fanpage. I'm Kristen, your host today. Today we're going to talk about photography with a special guest. Come with me and see her. Hey Kelly.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm doing great.
What are you taking?
I'm taking photos of sceneries around here.
Well, I know that photography is one of your hobbies, so I have a few questions about it. Do you want to answer it?
Yes, of course.
Well, let's go. So, one of your hobbies is photography. So, how did you become interested in photography?
I don't really know, but I think it came to me really naturally. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube about photography, and there are a lot of photographers that are really popular. They are really great at taking photos, like portraits or scenery photos, and are really addicted to it. So I think that it came to me really it's like water flow.
So you must take a lot of photos a day, right?
Yes, used to.
Yeah. So which photo you usually take, like sceneries or humans?
I used to take a lot of scenery, big pictures, like landscape things. I really like to see how natural and the beauty of it. But nowadays, I really just thinking about taking photos of portraits. And what I'm talking about portraits is that I'm taking photos of people, like my friends or even my family.
So do you take your photo by your camera or using your phone?
I usually take photos with my camera because I spend a lot of money buying the camera, so I would like to take really nice photos with the camera that I've bought. But if in some situations when I cannot take out my camera, so I will use my phone. It depends on the situation.
So do you think it's really hard to buy a camera with good quality?
I think that nowadays there are so many brands of cameras. They sell a lot of nice and DSLR or even the digital cameras are professional and mid-professional, just half of it, but it's still worth the price if you still think about the quality that you can get from these cameras. And they provide us a lot of great things that you cannot expect, I think.
So as you say from the start, nowadays you like to take some pictures of your friends, like portraits. So do you usually take photos of yours, take some selfies?
I think that the term selfie doesn't exist in my dictionary much because nowadays I don't take selfies anymore. I just focus on taking pictures of the scenery and my friends. But in the past I used to take a lot of selfies because my curiosity is just wanting to take photos and makes myself looking like beautiful princess or stuff like that. But it's not anymore.
So as I know, I have a lot of friends that take photograph. So and they usually share their photos in their social media. So you usually share photo on the internet with people around the world?
Sometimes, I use a lot of platforms like Facebook or Instagram, and I usually share those photos that I've taken onto these platforms. And I think that I don't really want to have any attention, or I don't want people to just recognize how beautiful it was. I just want to share it and see if my friends can see it, my families can see it, and it's just my habit. I cannot change anymore.
Well, as you say, to become a photographer needs a lot of skills, especially they need to be professionals. So what skills do you think that they need to have?
So I think the most important skill that you need to have is to be patient, when you like to take photos of really hard situation, like when you're taking a photo of scenery and you want to capture that moment, and it only exists in about like 1 or 2 seconds. So I think that the second skills you need to have is like to be really focused on what you're taking.
Well, as I know, because we are in the same school, well, you're already in a dance club, so do you want to involve in the photography club?
Well, dancing and photographing is like 2 main things I want to contribute my whole life to, but I think that photography is more like a work to me. Like we can make money from it, but also if you really be passionate about what you're doing when you're taking photos, I think that I really consider myself getting to like the photography club.
So I just saw you take pictures with your camera from the start. So your camera is one of your gift from your parents, right?
It's not a gift. I can say that it's a gift from myself to me. Like I saved a lot of money just to buy this camera, so you can see how passionate I am with this work or stuff. And yeah, I'm just like saving it for about like 2 or 3 years so I can get the budget to buy the camera I want, and I'm really satisfied with what I've done.
How much you could spend on cameras?
Well, the camera that I've bought, the body of it is only about like 15 million dong, and I have to buy the lens because it doesn't provide a lens, and so that the lens is like about like 3 or 4 million. I can't really imagine how like big the money is, but that's my passion though, so I really like to do it.
I spend a lot of money. Even it's a hobby, but it's still a difficult thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, now let's move to the final questions. So, do you want to become a professional photographer in the future?
I think that photography, like to me right now, is just a hobby that I enjoy whenever I feel like depressed about life, or even like I feel bored about the things that happens in my life, and I don't really have like a further like imagination about what I will be in the future right now. But right now I still think that photography is still playing a really important role in my life, and I would consider if I would like to be a professional photographer in the future.
Okay, before the ending, my friend, our guest, Kelly, will give you guys a question.
Okay, so the question is really simple. Who is the first person to invent the first camera in the world?
As you guys hear the questions clearly, remember, the first person who has the right answer and write down in the comment sections will have a special gift from Apple Language Center. Well, now's the end of this episode. Thank you for being guest today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, that's the end. Goodbye!